So if you are on this channel watching this video, I'm pretty sure that you've probably at some point in your life, at least once, asked yourself the question, what if I could read as my job? I decided that I was gonna put that to the test and see what happened. Hello, my lovely friend, it's Margaret. Welcome back to the channel. This is a reading vlog. A little bit different angle than you usually see in my reading vlogs, a little bit, but I had the camera and the light set up and I was still wearing the makeup, so I figured why not sit down and start this vlog because I know I'm going to be doing it anyways. This is going to be really quick. Like I don't know, do I even have any books that I've picked out for this vlog? Let me see. I don't have any like concrete plans really for this vlog other than I should probably explain to you what this vlog is about. So basically I have decided, because I work for myself now, I get to decide my hours, I get to decide what I am doing when. I decided that I was going to see what would happen if I actually clocked in and clocked out for work shifts as a reader. I'm not going to do a full 8-hour shift because number one, like studies have shown that the 8-hour, 5 days a week work, not great. People aren't productive. 4-day work weeks tend to be more productive. 6-day work days tend to be more productive. So I am going to try to clock in at like 11 a.m. I'm gonna try to be clocking in at 11 and work from like 11 until 5 or like 10 to 4, 12 to 6, something like that. And I'm gonna see how much reading that gets done for me. I'm gonna be trying to pick things off of my TBR. By the time you're seeing this, it's probably well past when that TBR went up. Just don't worry about it. I do have a couple of things here that I want to like focus on. Maybe, I know for a fact I would like to work on Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I want to finish this book. I want to finish Defiant so I can finally wrap the project that these are like involved with. I don't know where it is right now, but somewhere is A Tempest of Tea. I have started that and I need to work on it because it is one of my books that I'm reading for the Get a Clue readathon. I should probably continue and finish that book. I also probably need to read Little Thieves because the live show for this is coming at some point. I have a couple of books that I'm working on potentially for book clubs. We have The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. There's this guy. And then I also have A Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. I'm hoping I can get to one of these because I really would like to be able to, ooh, that's a 14-day book. I really need to maybe prioritize this one potentially. Anyways, I'm trying to get more into book clubs and like doing those, and especially like maybe going to in-person book clubs near me and getting to know people there. So I'm trying to be social. I think that is everything that you need to know for this. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go and move forward in time to tomorrow, Margaret, where she will update you on what she has read, where she is, has she clocked in, who knows. Please bear with me, we are still figuring out angles for this new, I haven't shown you guys the record stand yet. You guys haven't seen that. Hold on, I'll show you. My dad made me this for Christmas / my birthday. It has got a nice little place for all of my records to go so that they are all where my record player is, which is right here. And then this is just a little storage drawer because it's taking over what used to be my bedside table. And we're gonna play with this angle for now. I have been listening to one of the books I needed to work on, which is Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. This is one of the ones that I chose for like a potential clue. And I don't know what it was about like the Sunday after Valentine's Day, but I just woke up and I was like, I just feel like a thriller. This reminded me of two different books. One of them is a book that I absolutely adore. It's called The Shadow Sister by Lily Mead. She is also kind of navigating this whole, the conversation that happens around missing Black girls and the fact that you just have to put so much more work into getting people to care about the fact that they're missing. Quite often, their cases remain unsolved. The other one is a book that I read back for my church's book club. I don't even remember what the name of it was. I'll put the cover on here if I can remember / find it. But it was about a girl who went missing in New Orleans in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The feelings that our main character, Liz, is grappling with reminds me a lot about all the feelings that the adults in that book were grappling with, because I can't remember whether it was the mom or the friend that was the main character, but it was about looking for this girl. It was the best friend's mom. That's what it was. It was the best. So like her daughter's best friend goes missing and is taken into a sex trafficking ring, yada yada yada. This is such a more realistic portrayal of what happens when children go missing in situations like this. Like I cannot help comparing and contrasting like all of the actual stuff that I know happens versus the like the propaganda that was going on in that other book. Like it just keeps bringing up these things. The voice of our main character is so good. Like she's really pulling you in and drawing you in. And one of the things that I was thinking at the very beginning of the book was like, this woman's voice is just too soothing and smooth for what we are about to get into. Gives you no warning. That's on purpose, because man, she's turned that acting up to 10, and it is so like, girlie knew what she was doing. I don't know if she is in fact actually identifies as a girl. I don't know why I'm looking here like the narrator's name is going to be in the back of the book. This is what true crime thinks it is. This is what the people who get on true crime and they don't think about the victims, they don't care about like whether or not, this is what they think they're doing. This is what they think it, and it's like, I think there is a part of us that wants to take things like this and turn them into a fictional story where we know things are going to be okay. I am hoping by the framing of this book, we're going to have a situation where things end up differently than what our main character has been talking about. It's also so steeped in like Appalachian lore. Why did I say it that way? Appalachian. Like I'm just listening to this and I'm sitting there going like, no, this is stuff that you hear people talk about. For those that don't know, my mom's family is from West Virginia. So we're for like, a lot of this is like I like to say, like, even though I grew up in Florida, like, the mountains are in my bones. Like, some of this is familiar, some of this is stuff that, not necessarily that I've heard from family lore, but that I've heard digging into the history of the area because I was curious, because that's where my family is. It's just so interesting to hear them talking about some of this stuff that you will hear people talking about when it comes to, like, the woods and all of that. And, like, my mom's family is a family of hunters, yada, yada, yada. So, like, there is so much here that our main character is talking about with the families. This is in Pennsylvania, but like with the families that live there. I'm like, oh, those are my fucking relatives. It's really good. It's really well written. I can see why this made it to the top 10. No, I don't know if it made it to the top 10. It made it to the top 20 for Goodreads. It sounds like there might be some supernatural spookies going on, but I can't decide. I can't decide if this is one of those things that's like we're actually dealing with supernatural spookies or if we are dealing with someone who's really weird. Because the area that this is, it could be either. Like, most of this is our main character Liz's point of view. Sorry, brain just... Some of it is also, we are getting snippets of the killer's point of view, and why, like, his observations about the girls that I assume, like, all of the girls that we're learning about that have gone missing. We had one that we learned about at the very, very beginning. We've had another one we learned about most recently. And then there's one that I think is the one that our main character knows about. And I feel like the story is going to be around, like, unraveling what happened to her and therefore unraveling what happened to everyone else and finding this missing child. The child doesn't seem to fit... we just had some stuff happen. I'm pretty sure some of the stuff that our main character is starting to think is probably a red herring because it's happening at we're only like 30, almost 40% into the book. So it's too early for that to be the person. And I don't think that that's the person, but I do think that it is someone who is related to the child in some way. Like, it has to be someone who is of an older generation. And I feel like it might be someone who is part of the child's family, but it might not be someone who is part of, like, there is a whole bunch of stuff going on in my head, and you would be surprised the things that sick men especially, will justify. It's also reminding me a lot of the structure of The Roses of May by Dot Hutchison, which I love. It might be my favorite book in that series. I'm not sure. I also love the first book, The Butterfly Garden. But she also is doing a very similar, like, main character killer as they observe the victim kind of thing, which is it's such an interesting narrative technique. I'm sitting here, I'm talking, I should be reading, because that means that if I'm not reading, I'm not working. So far today, we've read for 49 minutes. I started a bit later than I've been wanting to start on this, but that's, you know what, it's a Monday. Hello. I will be fully honest, I might have clocked out a few minutes early. not by much, but like there was, again, stuff that happened that I happened to catch. I've gotten to page 242 of Jackal. This is all I listened to today. Like, just kind of, it's one of those books that you sit down and you start listening to it and it sucks you in, and suddenly you have zero interest in reading anything else. So I'm thinking that maybe if I'm going to want to read other books, I'm so close to the end of this thing. It's not even funny. I probably could finish it today if I wanted to, but we're sticking to our schedule. Listen, I work for myself. I can clock out early if I want. It's so, okay, so we're dealing with an unreliable narrator here. We've just had, like, there's stuff that, like, she's hinted at, and we're just now at this point in the book kind of getting the full everything that's been happening with her and going on in her head kind of thing. I'm very interested to see how this trope is going to play out and the tack that Erin Adams is going to take with this trope, like how she's gonna, which direction we're gonna go with it, because it is a very common trope in this type of thriller with an unreliable narrator. There's also some other stuff that we're dealing with, some repressed memories and things like that, and I'm intrigued, concerned, but intrigued. I'm not yet entirely sure. Like, I have my theories, but I haven't been able to settle on anything just yet, which is not normal for me with thrillers. Usually it's pretty easy for me to like kind of figure out who's what, where, going what, how, why. And I haven't figured that out yet. I still have some theories, and so if I am correct about any of them, I will not let anyone know that I had the other theories, and I will not stop talking about it. I'll just tell you I was right. Anyways, but I don't know yet. I feel like there are a couple of key, which, it's a mystery. There are a couple of key pieces that we're missing that I need before I can be like, okay, like this is definitely what's going on. So right now it's just theories and concerns and some like clues, but I haven't gotten anything specific just yet. So I'm putting this down for now. I've got other things that I need to read, and I need to sit down and figure out what I want. Like, I need to sit down and figure things out. But anyways, that's where we are on Monday. At the end of Monday, we have read for, hold on, I have stats. So I've read 188 pages today, and that was for reading for 3 hours and 10 minutes. I will see you tomorrow when we will sit down and figure out what we're doing for Tuesday. Okay, the good news is that I did start relatively on time this morning. The nice thing about audiobooks is that you can, if you would like, listen to them while you are walking, even if you've got distracted when you got up, because people on Threads don't know how to stick to the fucking point. Listen, if I'm arguing about human nature, I'm not here to have a debate with you about plain evac. That's besides the point. Anyways, so I have started Jackal at this point. Am I unhinged right now? Yes. Bear with me. It's so wild. Like, just how many, like, here and there and there. She's got so many threads working. It's so good. I'm having a great time with this book. I really want to convince my mother to read it, but I don't think she'd like it very much. There's a lot she wouldn't get, too. So, anyways, I am running a little bit behind because I don't know what it is about my clients, but I swear to God, it's like there is like an alarm bell or something like that goes off in their heads when I try to do projects like this, that they call and have issues the week that I've planned to do this, which, okay, great. Like, I'm glad I have my job that allows me to do this. It's just like, I haven't heard from you in weeks, and suddenly all of these issues are popping up the one week I'm trying to do stuff. I've listened to Jackal. I got a little, we had to go off on a tangent because I had to settle some things for some clients. And so that's now taken care of. I'm getting distracted. At this point, I don't know who the heck it is. I have no idea what is going on because we've been in the head of like something, and I don't know that we've been in the head of the killer though. I thought we were in the head of the, but I might be wrong about that. Anyways, so today's plans, because I want to be a little bit more productive today than I was yesterday, because yesterday I just sat down and I listened to the book. It's currently like 1:30. I got a good bit of listening done when what just fell behind my bed. I would like to be I have a couple of things planned, so I would like to stop taking a fucking nosedive. Stay there. I'm running late, but we're going to go make lunch. And then I am going to sit down and create a list of things that I would like to do while listening to this audiobook, because I have things like laundry that needs to be folded, and I didn't get anything done yesterday. On the docket for today, I do want to finish Jackal, get that taken care of, get that done. That'll get me... If you guys haven't been following along on my new thing with my TBRs, is I pay myself. When I read books that were on my TBRs, I give myself $1. It's not a lot of money, but I give it to myself. And then I save it for the end of the year. And then I also want to sit down and I want to read some of Reckless because I would like to finish that video. It's supposed to go up next week. I don't think it's going up next week, but I want to get it done and get it out. I feel like the discussion that I'm having in that video is very timely. So that's where we are with that. I don't know if I am going to sit down and listen to Tempest of Tea. I know where I stopped in the vlog where I was listening to this, so I probably won't talk a lot about this in this vlog. I will talk about this in a different vlog. I need to get to the 60% mark so I can start updating that vlog again. I really need to go through my vlog footage and see which vlogs I want to actually save and which ones I am just going to just delete the footage or figure out something else to do. I'm not quite sure, because like there are some books in some of this vlog footage that I still want to talk to you guys about. I don't know, maybe like there's a series I can think of that's like looking back on old vlogs and like pulling footage for some of that to see what I wanted, like if any of it is salvageable, because some of them are books that I really enjoyed and I really want to talk to you guys about. That vlog didn't get finished in the amount of time that it needed to get finished in to make sense. I'm gonna go put the book back on, and I will see you when I don't know why suddenly this plushie cannot stay where I put it, because it was there and it was fine for weeks. Like the 4th nosedive that plushie has taken in... You don't go up there, you go down here. So... turns out, the person that I've liked for this the entire time, it was them. I don't want to discuss any of my theories that I had in regards to who seemed like the most convenient and who seemed like a scapegoat, but like we had the ones that like, oh, those are the obvious, like this is who Aaron Adams wants you to think it is, and then this is who is being thrown in at like the last minute. But there's somebody we meet in this that I'm like, this feels like it could be the person. It's Wednesday, and yes, I am in the same shirt that I was in yesterday, to give you the final update for Wednesday, because I figured, why change into a clean shirt to go for my run when I could just wear the shirt I was wearing yesterday? So yesterday's total reading time over the 6-hour shift, over my shift, was 3 hours and 15 minutes. I'm gonna try and up that, not because I want to read for more hours, but because I am trying to read more page count. I would like there to be for this week a different color other than blue, which means I either need to read under the page count for this, which is probably not happening with the way that like reading it with me trying to read for 6 hours, or I need to go over the page count. And yeah, so that means I need to read a lot more pages than I read yesterday. I think I need to get another like 120 or something, because the next color is the green. I'm keeping track of how many pages I read every day for my reading blanket right now. Anyway, so let's talk about my shift yesterday, reading books. I did read the final 76 pages of Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. I gave this 3 stars. This is a really, really good thriller. I feel like people who enjoy thrillers are going to really enjoy this one. There were a couple of things at the end that I was just like, it's gonna keep you guessing. It's gonna keep you questioning yourself. It's gonna make you go, okay, did I even... like, what is happening? It's going to make you question a lot of things. I can't talk about it without, like, I cannot talk about it without spoiling things, but there's specific elements in the book that I feel like we either needed to go harder on that element or we needed to not have it at all, because I felt like the way that it was done, it did kind of cheapen the ending just a little bit. I honestly think I would have preferred it if we had just not had that in there, and we just not had that in there. I liked a lot of what she was trying to do with this particular, like, element of the story, but I just felt like it kind of made it so that she didn't stick the landing for a book that was just so interesting and convoluted, and it had so many, like, small town politics in it and all of this stuff. Like, it's very hard for a thriller to get 5 stars from me, just because certain elements that I need for what I call the 5-star fuzzies don't tend to be in thrillers. But I think there are people that are really, really gonna like this one. I think that there are people, like, this was a good book. This was a good, not a favorite, not a new favorite, but it was a fantastic ride the entire time. That was 76 pages there. From there, I needed another audiobook, so I went on and we read 85 pages of A Tempest of Tea. We have gotten myself to the point where I think I'm going through vlog clips right now, trying to pinpoint where different, like, because my vlog clips are scattered over so many memory cards because I keep running out of room. And so I'm like, you know what? We just need to clear this stuff out. I'm almost to the point in this book where I think I need to figure out, number one, actually, no, it's on this memory card. So I'm going to have to figure out what memory card I want to put that vlog on next. I'm getting to the point where it's time to start updating this yet again. I just need to go back and rewatch the last clip where I was talking about it, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. I think I mostly was talking about the fact that the cover they sent me, the original cover I bought, has some sort of like biohazard in it, probably. Hold on, I'll show you guys. I lost this. It got buried in a pile of junk, so I wasn't able to, like, because originally I was just gonna purchase it and then return it, but it's got like this on it, and I'm not sure what this is, but it's not supposed to be a part of the cover very clearly, and I think it's been there since I got it. So anyways, that's going in the trash. I don't know what to do with the book because it has no, like, dust jacket. And this is, we're going to talk about a book that I read after hours. This tells you something. I spent 6 hours reading yesterday, and when I went to bed, I was still like, I need a book to read. By some weird twist of fate, I got the audiobook in for Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is another one that I will not be talking about too much in this vlog, just because there is another vlog where we're talking about it. But how many pages did we didn't read a lot of pages, because it was almost at the end of the shift when this happened. I read a total of 11 pages yesterday for this. I need to finish this. I need to finish this vlog. So this is probably going to be part of the, like, some of what I'm focusing on. And then I guess technically this wasn't read yesterday, and it wasn't read for the shift, but I did want to mention that I am reading Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. I got to page 34. This is the sci-fi book club at one of my local bookstores. This is the pick that they have for their sci-fi book club, and so I wanted to read it because I have enjoyed, Nnedi Okorafor has not been a favorite yet, but I've really enjoyed her world building and like what she's done with Who Fears Death, and then like with Binti. Really enjoyed that. This one, I'm very intrigued in this one. I think that this one could be like a new, I don't know if I would say it was a new favorite, but I think this is one that could end up very much on the kind of list of things that I recommend on a really regular basis, just based on the first 34 pages. Also, it's so freaking gorgeous. Like, look at, I just love, and I wanted to mention that I was reading this because it sounds like this is going to be a book that I'm going to want to talk about, and I'll want to have a vlog where I'm talking about the fact that I read it. I don't think I will be finishing it in this vlog because I think this is just going to be my bedtime book that I read to wind down at the end of the day. So technically, this is not part of making reading my day job. But I really like reading. Suddenly I'm a workaholic. We're following our main character, who is a paraplegic. She is also a professor, and she is, I can't decide whether she is an aspiring writer or if she has been published previously. Like, the synopsis gives me those vibes. The 34 pages that we have read so far gives me, this is someone who is trying to be published. It has been trying to be published for over a decade vibes, like a debut, not quite debut author vibes. But she is writing, okay, this is like a story within a story, because what happens at the very beginning of the book is she loses her adjunct job because she, to be honest, was a little bit of a dick to one of her students, but they kind of deserved it at the same time. So I don't blame her. She had an entitled student that was just not doing his job as a student in a writing class. So like, I don't blame her for like having some stuff to say about that. I do feel like in my creative writing classes, those kinds of critiques tended to be a bit more couched in like the sandwich method. Do not get me wrong. I have seen some creative writing teachers tell people that their writing was shit. Never me, but I have seen that happen. I've also seen acting teachers tell people that they couldn't act, which was fun because everyone knew it except the person that they were talking to. And Dr. Pinkney was so nice. He was so nice when he said that, but he basically, it translated to, baby can't act. Like, it's one of those things that I'm like, I feel like
they gave the students way too much power in that. That is not an offense where you fire someone. That's an offense where you're like, okay, we got to do some like workplace development stuff. Maybe that is it. Because students are going to be pissed that a teacher is holding them to standards. Like that happens. That's something that regularly happens. I've had some really good teachers that were really hard and people complained about them, but they were really good teachers and you learned your shit. Anyways, she gets fired from her adjunct teaching job, and she also gets a rejection for a novel that she's been working on for 10 years. And so what happens is she then sits down. She's at her sister's wedding when all of this happens. Like, it all happens right before the wedding. Other stuff happens. There's a whole bunch of like personal stuff that happens, and then she starts writing this book about the world after humans, when just robots are left. And I'm so into, like, this is going to be such an interesting juxtaposition of like these stories of this futuristic, dystopian, post-apocalyptic kind of story with these robots that have completed their tasks and now they're growing and changing, but they can't create. And this woman's life as she is kind of like, she's in a little bit of a spiral at the beginning of the book. And so it's going to be interesting to see, because I know that she, like, part of the plot is the spiral is going to continue, but I'm going to be very interested to see if she is able to pull herself out of the spiral for a little bit or no. I'm going to go get less gross and sweaty, and then we're going to sit down, make breakfast, and do all of that stuff. But technically I'm working already because we're talking about books. Let's go about our day. The Lord is testing me today because I just got this in. And I would like to sit down and start planning out our next session because that happens next week. But I've gotta read books because that's my day job this week. So anyways, I have read how many pages so far? 88 pages of Reckless. I'm on page 208. I feel like this one is bugging me a little bit more than the first book did. So I'll say that much. I need to go update actually I need to figure out which memory card this vlog is on first, and then I need to go update it. But I am switching over to A Tempest of Tea. I've sat down, I've watched the last little clip that I did. So I'll be able to update them and kind of move forward with this book. I'm so close. Like, I'm in the last 2/3 of the book, which is fantastic. And I feel like this is a duology. I think. Is this a duology? Let's see. Margaret should find that out. Yes, it is a duology. The second book is A Steeping of Blood. The sequel is coming out. The second book in this duology is coming out in September. So at least I'll be able to pick that up right when I get it. It's been weird. There have been a couple of books that, like, I know they're supposed to be... you would think where they were announced, and they haven't been announced yet. And I'm like, this is odd. This is weird, but okay. Don't have much to say. But we are continuing. We're continuing. I did take a little nap. We took a small break. And now we're going to continue on with the reading. I know there's yard work going on behind me, and my bed is not made. I don't care. Hi, I owe you an update. We're not, they're doing yard work, so we're not going to update you until they're done with the leaf blowers and stuff. But this book, here's the thing. If you watch the video where I read Powerless, it was an okay book. It was a good time to read. I liked it. I had a good time. The book knew what it wanted to be. I'm not going to talk too much again about this, but I figured I'd come in and give you guys like something like, oh, they're done. Okay, maybe I will give you an update. I just read 2 sentences that, if I did not live with people, would have had me screaming in rage out loud because, oh, why is this character like this? Number 1, currently she is chained to him and he's dragging her back. And so he's like, oh, I hate when she acts like she's my prisoner. And I'm just like, 'cause she is. She's your prisoner, my dude. And now we're talking about his sister. Not a spoiler, we knew about her. And he's talking about how he had to learn how to braid her hair because she couldn't do it because she was too weak to braid it herself. She was 4 when she died. And I say this as someone who at 3 started taking care of my own hair, like brushing and stuff, because that was how I was allowed to have long hair, because my mom said, if you want long hair, you have to learn how to brush it and take care of it yourself. It was this long at the time. So it took a hot minute for it to get to braiding length, but like, who proofread this? Who let these two lines like, some of them have been cringe and weird in this book, but like, not, like, it's like, okay, but yeah, that's the trope. That's the thing. Like, at least in... Who let this get past proofreading? Lauren, get a better proofreader. There's no way that either of those should have stayed. Someone should have brought both of those points up in your book, Lauren. Anyways, let me grab my phone and figure out how much I read yesterday, because it wasn't quite as much as I would have liked to, but it was a whole lot. Alright, so yesterday we didn't quite make it to 300 pages. That's fine. If you hear the phone go off, it's because we're talking about how to make waffle fries in the group chat. And that's all you're getting. Okay, so let's talk about how much I read yesterday. We got all the way to 263 pages. I got so close to getting to that 300 and I just was like, nah. We did do some overtime though. Okay, so yesterday we read 88 pages of Reckless. As we've already mentioned, this is for another vlog. I'm having a time reading this book because I feel like it just doesn't know what it wants to be to some extent. And then I'm also having the issue that, like, we've got a lot of the two main characters sniping at each other. It's not navigating the romance and fantasy as well as I feel the first book did. Like, the first book was a 3-star, but I really, like, I enjoyed it. It was a fun book to read. This one is decidedly less fun. I think this one might be getting 2 stars. And then I did finish A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Fazel. We went overtime yesterday. I'm gonna be fully honest. Like, it was like 5:30 and I was like, I'm so close to finishing this book. I'm not stopping till it was finished, because like I was gonna finish with like an hour left and I was like, let's go. We gave it 4 stars. I had a good time. If you read heist books for the heist, maybe not this one. This is the one you read for a crazy kooky bunch of characters that like you enjoy watching them interact with each other and those kinds of things. I did update the vlog for this one. I had a great time, and we're gonna at some point move on to the final book in that vlog. I enjoyed the characterization. I enjoyed the points of view that we got. I think there was a really interesting like interview at the end of it that was fun for me, just because she talked about how Hafsa Fazel talked about how she balanced out the different points of view, because she knew Arthi was the main character. And then she was like, well, Arthi's kind of dark, so we need some stuff to balance her out. And so the way that worked out really worked out well. I'm intrigued in seeing where book 2 goes. Some of the preliminary like arc reviews that have come out have not been the best, but some of the people that are not having the best time with that also kind of missed the point of Gilded Wolves as well. So whatever. So that was 141 pages with Tempest of Tea. If you like the found family trope, read the book. Read it. It's good. It's really good. I think We Hunt the Stars. We Hunt the Flame. We Hunt the Flame. I think We Hunt the Flame is the better, like, that's the better book. At least opening. I haven't read the second book, but like that she hit it out of the freaking park with that one. And so I like a lot of what she talks about in this. And it was really interesting because, again, in this interview on the audiobook, Hafsa Fazel talks about how she did not go into a book expecting to, or planning on tackling colonialism as a theme in her book, but she wanted to write in a specific era, and she was like, I can't, like, she wanted to write a dapper novel, is what she called, like Peaky Blinders type thing. She said, I couldn't write about that era without and just whitewash what happened in the real world in that era. So I really appreciate that, and I really respect her for that. This book is now forever tied with Baldur's Gate, because I was playing Baldur's Gate while I finished it. So I'm still processing that ending. I'm gonna listen to some more of Reckless, I think. So what we're running into is, what I really want to read next, what I really want to pick up next is The Reformatory. However, I will not be able to, it's a 21-hour audiobook. So I will not be able to finish that before tomorrow, because tomorrow is the end of this project. So, like, I feel like if I'm going to start that, I should start that after. So now I'm debating, do I want to pick up Manslaughter Park, because I'm pretty sure that'll be a quick audiobook. Do I pick up, like, Hemajang Luck or The Silent Patient? Like, what else is on Because I think we've hit our cap for what I can do with Reckless today. I don't know. What do I want to, like, I guess I need to look and see what I want to read next for my audiobook. Like, I have so many audiobooks going on. I should listen to Little Thieves, but I want to listen to Little Thieves and read Little Thieves at the same time. Like, what I want to do is I want to pick up this guy, but I don't have that as an audiobook. I may read that, like, later today, but I have to go out and do stuff, and so I want to be listening to something while I do stuff. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up Manslaughter Park, because I know that I will enjoy that book. Number one, it's going for the mystery thing that I'm feeling, you know, sounds good. You know what? I also have Kasoko Jackson's book, 11 Hours. Okay, I'm gonna stick with Manslaughter Park, because I feel like if I really work on it, I can probably have Manslaughter Park finished by the end of this vlog or shortly after, because I don't like leaving you guys, especially since this isn't like a weekly vlog where like we're gonna pick up in the next week with a completely different book. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to listen to Manslaughter Park while I run my errands. And then I think I'm going to come back and we're going to finish off reading Death of the Author, because I do believe I need to have that finished by Sunday. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I planned this out. It's great. We're good. Everything's fine. I'm pretty sure I was in this hoodie yesterday too. But it's Friday. Hello. We've made it to the end of the week. I'm here with your update. So far, my reading job Friday is going about as well as my day job Fridays used to go. Not in a bad way, just in a I'm very distracted kind of way, and kind of like have so many other things that I also need to do. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go put on some Baldur's Gate, and I'm gonna play while I listen to books. So yesterday we read 38 pages for Reckless. I don't have any other thoughts to give you on this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No other thoughts. We didn't get very far yesterday, and I still have not found, that's probably what I should do instead of playing Baldur's Gate, I still have not found the vlog so that I can update it before I finish the book, because I feel like I probably need to update it before I finish the book. And then, as I said, I have picked up Manslaughter Park. I am about, at this point, halfway through. But yesterday, how many pages of this book did I read? So yesterday's page count was 161 pages. Now, I will say I do have a work event after in the evening today. A little bit of a bookish cocktail hour, if you will. And by which I mean, it's Neva's reading with Neva's 24-hour sprints tonight. My battery is dying. Hold on, I'll be right back. 161 pages of this yesterday. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. It is a retelling of Manslaughter Park. I'm really liking how Tirzah Price is handling the fact that, like, Fanny doesn't do a lot. Or doesn't speak up a lot in this one. I don't know. I never understood why. Okay, I understand the Fanny Price hate. I understand why people don't like her and why they think she's too passive, yada, yada, yada. I feel like maybe I understand her a little bit too well, because I think a lot of the time we are very divorced from the context of when these novels were written and like what would have been expected of women and how. So like, while yes, Fanny is a very passive protagonist, like it still is a story I feel like a lot of women of the time could relate to. Especially women who were not able to marry and who were in similar positions to Fanny. So I've never understood, like, the Fanny Price hate has always annoyed me. I'm liking this. I'm liking that, like, she's doing a really good job of the dynamics between the family. I do also think that we have 3 books in is a little late to be getting to this, but I have a feeling someone mentioned the fact that there is a lack of queer characters in her book, because we do have a little, I'm feeling like we have a little baby Bai as our main character here, number 1. She's just now figuring it out, and considering that it's this story, oh man, it's such a brilliant move to like do what she's doing. I don't want to spoil things, but like, yes, the thing that I am concerned about are the couple of characters that we have confirmed besides Fanny are probably, or definitely, one of them is definitely gay. I am concerned about the part they're going to be playing in the narrative, so I will let you know how well that is handled. I have realized that I may have played myself because I have plans to read a specific book this weekend, and I didn't realize that book club was this weekend, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to make it to the book club for Death of the Author, but I do want to try and read some more of it because I was enjoying it, and I want to pick it back up and finish it, and like, I don't know, Nydia Okorafor just writes interesting books. I have gotten about some pages, I think like 30 pages read today. Oh wait, I need to plug this in, the phone is dying. I'm hoping I can finish, because there's not much of this left, so I say not much, there's about half of this left, so I should be able to like bust through it, right? This is not going to be an accurate read time because I forgot to track. How much time does this say I have left in the book? Okay, so this is saying that I have 4 hours and 37 minutes left. I don't listen at 1x speed, so it's going to be like less. So, yeah, I think I can, it's 4:36. I think I can read this before I need to be up and ready to go. And I also need to clean things up. You can see that pile of clothes and sweaters. This is what happens to my sweaters when I'm just too lazy to put them away. That pile is, it's also where, like, things that need to be mended go to die. Anyways, long story short, I need to clean some stuff up so that I have a nice backdrop when we're on for sprints. Hi. Oh boy, have things changed since we last spoke. We've reached the end of this. We pulled a late night. We did some after hours work last night because I just could not get my shit together. I would call this experiment a success because I've finished several books this week. I can't say I'm happy about all of the books that I finished, but we'll do the end of the experiment here in a minute. We'll wrap everything up with all of the final thoughts. What we are here to update you guys on is the fact that I finished Manslaughter Park by Tirzah Price, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy with what she chose to do in this freaking book. There's only so much that I can talk about why I don't like this book, because it's one very specific thing. Well, actually, it's a couple things, but there's only so much I can talk about why I'm mad about this book, without spoiling things. So I'm going to give you just kind of like about halfway through the book last night. I was about halfway through the book. I kind of started to get the impression that, unlike with Pride and Premeditation and Sense and Second Degree Murder, which she did such a beautiful job of capturing the original story. It's very clear she loves those books. I started to kind of get the feeling that she felt the need to fix Mansfield Park. As we have previously discussed, I like Mansfield Park. I like Fanny Price. I like the relationships in it. There is a lot about Mansfield Park that I like, and there's a lot that I feel like, yes, she could have taken creative liberty with and I would have been fine with, but she took creative liberty with a very specific thing in regards to the murder that I'm still seeing red. I just finished it. I'm still seeing red. So, I can't even say that. So if you don't want any spoilers from here on out, I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible, and I will put a big spoiler tag if I do get into specific. I'm going to tell you what the specific thing is that made me mad later on, but I'm going to do some more general comments for people that kind of want more of an idea. But here's the thing: is she did confirm in the author's note. First sentence of the author's note is, I have a confession to make. If I had to rank all of Jane Austen's books, Mansfield Park would probably come in as my least favorite. And bitch, I can tell. I can fucking tell that you didn't like this book. You didn't understand the book. So much of this is like she went in to fix this rather than understanding. And here's the frustrating thing is, she says she reread it and she did kind of understand what Jane Austen was going for, and then again chose to still change the thing. So anyways, that is as far as I can go without getting into mild spoilers. So skip to this point if you don't want mild spoilers. Here's my problem. You remember when I came on, I was like, oh, so excited because it's a little baby bi awakening and all of that fun stuff. And then, so we had the perfect setup for a polycule, right? And I get that this is YA. I get it. We chose murder instead. And I'm mad about it. In this book, again, spoiler fucking coming. Once again, reading from the author's note, it says, I confess I have never been much enamored of Edmund Bertram. Yeah, I can also tell. The murderer is Edmund. The murderer is Edmund. That pisses me the fuck off. That is the thing. I could deal with so much more of it. Like everything else, I was, okay, great. Yeah, this is your interpretation. It's still a good book. I still enjoyed it. But the murderer is Edmund. I went into this book thinking like I've seen some stuff on social media thinking like, okay, she's talked about like how kind of lacking in agency Fanny seems to be, which, don't get me, that's the whole thing we do with the whole Disney princess thing about how they don't have agency, and especially the early ones don't have agency and blah, 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 blah. I have so many issues with that line of thinking when we call it feminism. That's a whole other thing. But I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed that she decided I went into this for a very specific thing. I wanted Mansfield Park. I wanted this like murder mystery version of Mansfield Park. And in doing this murder mystery version of Mansfield Park, I wanted Fanny and Edmund. I will 100% say that. I loved the idea of us doing Fanny, Edmund, Mary. Well, actually, no, it would have been Edmund, Fanny, Mary, because Mary is lesbian and then Fanny is bi. So she, like, and this is like the perfect societal, like this is a society where this would have been kind of actually a normal, like a thing that would have happened and would not have been questioned if they had set up their own household. Fanny and Edmund could have set up their own household. And then her friend could have come to live with them, because that is a thing that frequently happened, especially with women. They had to rely upon the generosity of strangers when they didn't have anyone to support them. We could have done that. I would have fucking loved it. But we had to completely change Edmund Bertram as a character. And here's the thing. In both Pride and Premeditation and Sense and Second Degree Murder, the characters themselves are still mostly the same. Also, Mary Crawford. Mary fucking Crawford. That's who you choose? What? I mean, there's not many choices. There's not really many choices when we're retelling Mansfield Park. I just wish that she had chosen to retell or do this with a Jane Austen that she actually liked instead of with this one. Like, that's my thing. Is like, if you, like, anyways, Mary fucking Crawford. So, yeah, I'm just pissed that she decided that we wanted to change it. Like, yes, the man is stupid. Yes, he is not the greatest of Jane Austen's love interests, but he is also so, like, just, I still like him as a love interest, and I'm mad that she had to, like, fully change his character. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. Really. It's like, just that change of him, not what I signed up for. 2 stars, not happy with it. I wish she'd chosen a different one, like one that she actually liked and wanted to do justice to the original story, because I don't feel like she did justice, or not to the original story, but to the original characters. I don't feel like she did justice to the original characters, because it, like, Edward in Sense and Second Degree Murder and Darcy in Pride and Premeditation are still relatively the same character. If we could go as far as to have everyone around Fanny be like, oh yeah, it's cool that you're bi. If we could go that far, we could we could twist history enough to be like, hey, oh no, it's cool that you want to do this. Like, this is cool. We're all cool. We could have had a polycule. We could have done that, but we had to do murder. I'm so annoyed and frustrated. It is still pretty well written, but I'm just, anyways. Okay, spoilers are over. I think if you are looking for sapphic Regency fiction, this is a really great book to read. I think there are people who, if you're not as attached to Mansfield Park and to the characters as I am, you, like, here's the thing. Again, Mansfield Park is not my favorite, I honestly, it probably is also my least favorite, but I still, like, liked it and appreciated it for what it was, and I really liked and appreciated the relationships with the characters and the romance and all of that stuff for what they were. I think if you are someone who, like me, actually likes Mansfield Park, actually likes Fanny Price as a character, and do not feel the need to fix her or feel like just because she is quiet, that makes her a weak character, because that very much feels like where the author is coming from, and that is a very common kind of thing that you see amongst people that dislike Mansfield Park. If you're someone like me, I don't think you're gonna like this one. It will really depend on how much you're willing to have people take liberties with the character of certain characters. I think there are a lot of people that want queer Regency romance, though, that are really gonna like this. It's not that this is a bad book, it's that I am pissed by a specific decision the author made. Specifically in regards to the crime that happened, in regards to the murder. Because it meant taking a character and fully changing who they were, and making it so they are not the character they are in the original story. And the thing I loved so much about Pride and Premeditation and Sins and Second Degree Murder is that even though like the stories are very different and we're changing a lot of things up, the characters and the dynamics were still the same. I don't know what to do now because I hate the idea of having an incomplete series on my shelf, but I never want to see this book again. I'm just so pissed. Like, there were so many other options we could have done and had this same ending, or had some of these same relationships. Polyamory was there. Gender bending was there. That would have been fun. This is just a book that I just fundamentally disagree with the author on how they interpreted the original text. That's what we're going with. I fundamentally disagree with what the author decided should happen. Mansfield Park is one of the most misunderstood Jane Austen books out there and most maligned. So let us take a look at what Margaret read. So the only book that I read yesterday was this book. And I read bitch, stop it. And I read 161 pages yesterday. Now I'm gonna go read something that won't make me as mad, hopefully.
Did I purposely time ending this vlog with a day that I knew that I needed to film? Absolutely, you betcha I did. Hello, we're here to wrap this thing up. I think if I'm like looking at my stats, I have them down here because I sat down and figured out everything that I read like the full stats of everything that I've read this week. Looking at this, my productivity definitely peaked on Wednesday and then just kind of went downhill. We have 3 hours and 10 minutes, 3 hours and 15 minutes, 4 hours and 28 minutes, and then it's 2 hours and 46 minutes and 2 hours and 13 minutes. All together, and I'm so mad. I wish I'd been keeping track of like the total amount that I was reading from the beginning, but all together, I read for 16 hours and 2 minutes over that week, and I read 983 pages. I was 17 pages away from 1,000 pages read in a week. So definitely I can do that. I think I'm just gonna have to do this again. I had a blast doing this. I would like to see if I could do it better because I am the person that I am. Let's go through the books that I read for this week and kind of sum up my thoughts on them. The first two books are books that I did not finish. I don't have a lot to say about them. We obviously have Reckless by Lauren Roberts. At this point, the audiobook has gone back to the library, so I don't know when I'm finishing this, but at some point, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read it and I'm actually going to finish it. I'm going to make myself go through it. I don't have much else to say other than what you've seen. The other book is obviously Death of the Author by Nydia Okorafor. I didn't get any further past those 34 pages because I just crashed the other nights of the week. So there was no after bed reading time. Technically, this was my pleasure reading book. This was not the workbook that we were reading, if you remember from the beginning of the video. It is intriguing though, and I definitely want to continue on so that I can finish this book because I've missed the deadline at this point for the books, what's the word? The book club. I know I'm not making that at this point, but I'm very intrigued. Even if I'm missing that book club, I can still talk with all of y'all about this book. So at some point, I will continue reading this and you'll hear more about it. The books that I did finish, though, were Jackal by Erin E. Adams, A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Fazelle, and Manslaughter Park by Tirzah Price. I ended up giving Jackal 3 stars. I think this is a really fascinating thriller. If you're looking for books set in Appalachia with all of that weird Appalachian lore and like the creepiness that you get kind of when you're just out in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, this is going to be a fantastic book for you to read. It's also really good if you want like the small town vibes, and especially if you want to read a book that examines the impact that racial identity can have on a person's life when they live in a small town. Like a lot of the things that are going on in this book revolve around the fact that our main character is Black and she grew up in a small town. There are things that happened to her there. There are experiences that she had there that impact her through the rest of her life, impact the mystery at the heart of the story. Really, really recommend this book. I had a very good time with it. Tempest of Tea, I gave 4 stars. I didn't love it quite as much as I loved We Hunt the Flame. Yes, we hunt the flame. I keep trying to say we hunt the stars or we free the flame. Those are not the correct title, Margaret. I still really enjoyed this, though. This was a little bit more bare bones. This was very much, she was writing a dapper kind of fantasy. She kind of knew the audience would be more familiar with what is going on. This is going to be really good if you're looking for a book that kind of has found family. We have that in our two main characters, Arthi and Jin. I really appreciated the way that Hafsa Fazel used the points of view to balance off of each other as we are going through the planning and the execution of this heist. I really appreciated how she looked at, like, she didn't go out to write a book that examined imperialism, but when she was sitting down and like looking at the time period that everything was inspired by, she was like, I couldn't not examine this, knowing the impact that it had in the real world, and I really appreciated that. I feel that is very responsible of her as an author, and I liked how she used that to inform the story. I also love that this ties in just a little bit with the Sands of Aralia duology. I have feelings about how the character that ties in views some of the characters that we know from the Sands of Aralia, but he doesn't know. He wasn't inside those characters' heads. It's fine. I did feel a bit rushed at the end, but I don't know if that was me because I was playing video games as I was listening to this and getting my ass kicked, or if that was more like the fact that that was kind of the pacing that the story needed. It was very much a lot of planning and plotting and all of that time, and then you'd have bursts of quick energy. That just feels like it was kind of the pacing of the book because that was the way that the events in the story went. And then we have Manslaughter Park by Tirzah Price. This is potentially the biggest disappointment of the year, and this is, we're so early in the year for this to have happened. It got 2 stars. The first 2 books in the series, 5 stars. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I'm pissed. I'm pissed who she decided to make the murderer. I just can't get over how different her approach, or how obvious it is that she loves Pride and Prejudice and she loves Sense and Sensibility and really was interested in honoring those stories and exploring those characters and giving us the same vibes and things and feelings that you get in those 2 books. I remember reading Pride and Prejudice and reading Sense and Sensibility, and even though it was a remix, it was a retelling, it still felt very it took all of the things that I loved about those 2 books and it just made them better. It made them fresh and interesting and used those dynamics so well. And it's so clear how much she loves and knows and enjoys that source material. And in this case, it is so clear that she does not like Mansfield Park, and she didn't like certain characters in Mansfield Park. I can't tell you which specific characters because, again, gives away the ending. Some of the things that I loved the most about Mansfield Park, one of the things specifically that I love about Mansfield Park as someone who enjoys it, it's not my favorite Jane Austen, but I still enjoy it for what it is and appreciate it for what it is. I don't feel like it needs to be changed or fixed, and it's very much this felt like she wrote this book to fix Mansfield Park. And there are a couple of ways where I'm yeah, actually, you can, that is a fix. That's a good fix. Couple of things. I talk about them earlier in the video. But the main thing, one of the bigger things that she felt she needed to fix, I hate the way that she decided to fix that. It's just her disdain for the original source material is so clear in how she decided to do the ending and who she decided to make the murderer. And there was such an opportunity to flesh out the characters from Mansfield Park and give them a little bit more punch and pizzazz, because I do understand that some people find those characters boring, especially Fanny. That is incorrect. That is a wrong opinion. No. But I understand that. There were some places where she could have expanded upon the original text, and she chose not to take those in this book, I felt. She just didn't, or she didn't take them in the same way that she did with Pride and Premeditation and Sense and Second Degree Murder. There are going to be people who are going to love this. This is going to be a 5-star book for them. They love the first 2 books. This is fantastic. They're not going to care about, because they don't care about the thing that I like. The character that I'm maddest about is not the character that they care about terribly. And there were ways to have this character and have this character in the story and make the specific changes that Tirzah Price wanted to make. There were ways to do that and not absolutely ruin this character. And that's my issue. I wish she'd chosen something different. Why couldn't you have chosen Emma? That also, you could have done some of the same things you did in here, the same thing in Emma, because they are rife. And to be honest, if we were going to do what she did with choosing and doing, that would actually make a little bit more sense and potentially be a little bit more palatable. Anyways, despite the low note at the end, I'm actually quite happy with how this week went and everything, and definitely am going to try to do this again because I think I can do it. I think we can get even better results the next time we try it. If you would like to see me try to read a whole bunch in a week, you can always check out this video where I tried to read 7 books in 7 days. At this point, I can't remember if I succeeded. Or you can try this video down here where I'm trying to read for 24 hours as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Also, if you like the vibes of this video, hit subscribe right down there. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!